This conference will now be recorded.
I will start at 9:05. Okay, because there might be people who, because of rain, it might be delayed. I will start the class 9:05 sharp. So online resources, the situation is actually we have heavy rain since last night, maybe last one day. That's why offline people are not able to come down, and there are few people who opted for online from other location in India because of heavy rains. They have power cut issues and all. They were not able to join. Okay, and few people are still traveling to come down here. That's why I'm going to start after 5 minutes. There will be a 5 minutes delay in starting the class.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah,
Am I
Harsha, this is
audible?
Narendra.
Am I audible?
Yeah, Harsha. Yes.
Yes. What is that you are asking?
No. I was just testing yesterday. I was trying to reach you, but I was not able to. I was just testing my mic here. Thanks a lot.
Okay, fine. And someone, Sagar, yesterday we thought of joining a call. We missed it, right? Because I was in an interview. Maybe after class you can call me at 10:30 today.
Hello, Harsha.
Yes, yes. Who is this?
Yeah. This is Abhilasha. I was facing an issue is that my server started after installation, but what I am getting for 2 days is that I am getting an HTTP status 404 not found.
Do not restart it. Sorry, do not reinstall Pega when you have an issue. I will tell you what you have to do. See, when you bring up the application server, this window, whatever that is running, it should show a message. You can see on top of the screen while it is starting, it should show a message, server starting, like this. Instead of this, it will display another message. What is that? PG CT1. There is another server running, like this. If you get this message, meaning that previously when the server is up, you have not properly shut down that. You had not properly shut down that. It has been abruptly closed. So what is the thing you have to do is, you again double click on shutdown. You do not close the windows directly. You double click on shutdown. And then after shutdown, it says server stopped successfully. You bring up, you start up again. You face the issue again, suppose. Again you shut down. Twice or thrice you do, it will be properly been unloaded. Okay?
Okay.
It will be properly shut down. One time you should see it is been started properly. Okay, once, twice or thrice if you do, it should be. But every time when you bring up the server, make sure you are going to shut down it without closing directly. That should have to be done. Okay.
But when I installed it for the first time, then I got the server started, and after that, it automatically went to the. Sorry.
What I am saying, after you install, you got login screen. I agree. After that, you have directly closed, or it has not properly been shut down. You shut down it again properly, and then you will get it.
Okay, even once for the first time when I installed, it was the error was there. But maybe I'll try again after the shutdown.
Yeah, you.
But I should not
reinstall. Just send me the screenshot of this window, starting of this window while you are starting. What is the message that is there on this? Just let me know, then we can troubleshoot it. Okay.
Yeah.
And resources who have joined online.
Hi, Haris, Santosh here. Good morning. Actually, I was facing some issue with the name. So now I give a name. Are you able to see my name?
Yeah, I'm able to see your name, Santosh. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now everyone online.
This conference will now be recorded.
So let's go ahead and start our class now. Let's proceed now. So yesterday we have seen how to create a new application in 7.4. I have asked you to watch the video, creating new application in 7.2 or before version, it is there. Did you watch that? What is the difference? If you have watched that video, what is the difference that you have identified while creating a new application in previous version and this version? Question అడుగుతాను అనుకోలేదా?
Harsha, gone through that. This is Pramod. So where that admin and the user and all these IDs are there, right? It will be like by default those are coming in 7.3.
By default, operator IDs, admin and
Operator
operator IDs are being automatically created and displayed on the UI with the password rules. That is one difference. Any other differences?
Also, we can create framework and implementation application at a time. We have an option in the drop down.
There is no such an option to choose framework. Sorry, there is an option. I'm sorry. So we can create at a time framework and implementation. There is an option framework and implementation in the drop down. But there is another option called only implementation, only framework. You build framework, on top of it you can build implementation. The whatever we are doing in Pega 7.4, choosing framework one time and choosing implementation next time and creating on top of framework, this was there in 7.3. Plus one additional option is there. What was that? Both at a time. Framework as well as implementation both at a time. I don't know why they have removed it. Next, any other differences that you have seen? So actually, I రెండు చెప్పాను నేను క్లాస్ లో మీకు.
And look and feel of the screen. We are selecting the colors, right, while creating an application. Yeah.
What is there on the look and feel? What do you find? It's not like responsiveness at all. 7.3, what is there? What is missing in 7.4?
No, this is an added thing. While creating application, we are selecting the color, right, for the screen.
No, I'm not asking something which is there in 7.4 because you are accessing 7.4 that you know. What is there in 7.3 that is missing in 7.4 when you are creating an application? Nidhi, available?
Yes.
Yeah, what is been missing? What was there in 7.3 that is not there in 7.4?
I didn't see the video.
Okay, you didn't see that. Okay. So it will ask you to add case types, data types, objectives collection. There are 4 tabs you'll get next. So that is not there. That tabs are not there. Okay. So adding the case types and all at the design time itself while creating the application is not available in 7.4. But anyway, we will not do even 7.3. Removal of those things while creating the application is the correct practice. That's why they have removed. That I can agree. So you watch the video again if you want to watch, everyone. Okay. So you have to watch many YouTube videos which I will tell you to watch from my channel as per the regular process of the classes also. So let's proceed with our regular class. Yesterday we have created a new application. Okay. So when we create a new application, you remember we have given an operator ID, email address of the operator ID at the framework level. Similarly, at the implementation level also you would have given a new mail ID. We have given admin@sbi.com, right? You would have given admin1@sbi, something different. Then it will create an operator ID for implementation also. We would have done that, we missed it. Okay. Then see with the practice what we have done yesterday, we got this admin@sbi1.com. After that, you remember we have updated the password to rules. Updated it, completed. Now when I am going to log into PRBC, once I log into PRBC, this is the screen. Let me create a document for this. Nothing to write down. So you know what are the credentials, right? I'm not going to give the credentials. So this is the SBI application which we have created. So after that, navigate to App Explorer. Can someone please mute? Practice that you must have to mute always. Jyoti. Okay, thank you very much. And here you go. Go to App Explorer. After that, sorry, 557, right? Okay. Did I resume this? No. So once you go to App Explorer, sorry, I have taken a screenshot very quickly. This is what you should see. Once you go to App Explorer, what do you see here? Two applications. Tell me what are the two applications? One is framework. What is the name of the framework application? Let me show you that. Now you tell me. What are the two applications that you see here? State Bank, okay, Nandi. State Bank framework is there. Next, Pega rules. So, loaded Pega rules. On top of Pega rules, State Bank framework is there. Where is implementation? We missed to create an operator for implementation. Okay. So, but the same operator I am going to assign to implementation. But if you want to create at the implementation level, create a different ID. You log in, then you should be able to be in on the that time you see three applications. But still, I can do this change. With this change, I will be getting an operator ID assigned taken from framework given to implementation. Okay. So I will show you that steps. Do not bother about what I am doing technically because this will be explained to you after 1.5 months actually. This is not part of today's class actually. If you have added a new operator ID. So after login, you click on the right side operator. You can open your operator profile. Okay. Right click on top of this. Okay. I will write here to assign operator to our implementation application. Okay. I will write like this. Now we have logged into framework. Okay, SBI framework application. SBI framework application. Can I access implementation application when I am in framework application? Is that possible? That is not possible. Generally that is not possible. Okay, but there is a possibility. I will show you. This is the application menu, right? You know this, right? Here you have an option, switch application. Do you have? So when you go here, you can choose. This is what? Implementation. Let me select this. I have selected that, right? Let me go to App Explorer now. How many applications I got now? 3. What are the 3? Just without looking at there, tell me. Pega rules, State Bank framework and State Bank implementation. If you go there, you will see the same. See, this you are able to switch between framework and implementation. When you are at implementation, you should be able to access FW. FW means framework. When you are at implementation, directly you should be able to access FW related also. But when you are at framework, you will not be able to access directly like this implementation. What is the reason?
Implementation. Because we have created the implementation in the framework.
Yeah, the reason is whichever, okay, you need to understand like a parent and child. The main parent is Pega. I can access anything from Pega. After that, framework is parent. Child to Pega rules. For our implementation, framework is parent. So it can access. Child to parent, it cannot access, simply speaking. Okay. So we'll proceed in this way then. So now we have SBI. So now we can switch to, I'm not going to tell you that operator options and all. We will do that later. Now we can switch to implementation application. As shown below. Okay, I will show you how to switch. I'll put it back actually and then show you. This is how it was. So this is how it was, and click on this application menu and switch application and choose this one. Okay, let me give the screenshot. Click on application menu, choose this option. When you go to switch application and this one, it will load the implementation level. Implementation level will be having framework, that will be having Pega rules. So everything will be visible. Can someone please stop writing or typing something? Online resources, your keyboard sounds, or mute and do it. Go to App Explorer again. So let me go to App Explorer because that will disturb other resources. Now you see implementation. So it is very important. First we need to understand implementation than framework. Okay. So after we create application, there are many things that have been created in the background. So all the rules will not discuss in one class. Till next 45 days we'll discuss all the rules. Okay. So till next 45 days you see, whenever we come across, okay, this has been created the time we created application. But what is that required now? We will see. So before we proceed to see and talk about what are the rules that are being created, main rules, we have to understand some of the technical things. So this is up to your practical initial for application creation, login and loading the implementation application. So let's talk about classes in Pega. Let's talk about class. Everyone knows about what is class. I have already asked you to go through YouTube channel video and what is a class in Java. Everyone knows about it. Anyone do not know? Anyone do not know about it? So that means everyone knows about it. Class. So tell me what is class. Do not tell me any technical definitions. Tell me functional. What is a class? You have to speak about it functionally, meaning that if you say something to a third class standard student, he should be able to understand if he has a computer knowledge. Tell me what is class. I don't know. A collection of functionalities. What functionalities? What do you mean by functionality? Any business functionality. Any business functional. Different kinds of work, whatever that we perform. The work implementation has to be done programmatically, right? Whenever you are designing a task, the task has to be programmatically implemented. This programmatic implementation we are going to keep under something in that is called as class. Entire implementation will be grouped like this and it will have a name. Okay, let's say ABC. So now the entire business functionality of implementation, whatever that you have coded here, that is being identified with the name ABC. Instances and all, we'll talk about it later. This is what the purpose of a class. So without a class, can you write all the implementations in Java? I'm talking about Java. Without a class, can you write an implementation? Why? Why you cannot write? Java is designed to implement anything in class. So anything, if you implement, the execution should start. It should have an identification. And okay, technically if you're going to speak about it, objects and all. Okay, leave about object, it should have an identification. So for the identification purpose, it has to be grouped into one unit. That unit is called class. So without a class, if you write something, there will not be any meaning for that. Same is the case in Pega. Pega also uses classes. It uses classes. Why Pega uses classes? Why Pega should use classes? It is
Because
Java.class, right?
because we are compiling through JDK.
Because PRPC's business logic internally is being implemented using core Java, right? That's why it also uses classes. So anything that you want to implement, you must need a class. Yesterday we have created application, right? So directly in the application, can I code something? Coding here in the sense I am not going to write, but can I do something, implement something? I cannot do implement. Within the application, if I want to implement something, I need classes. For that, when we create application, PRPC has created classes also. It's not only application. One of the other rules that it has created is classes. There are some classes created. We'll talk about. So understanding what is being created, what is this SPII hyphen state BAN hyphen work. This is what important to understand. Okay, these are all classes. So before we proceed to talk about this, we need to understand about types of classes. Types of classes in Java or Pega same. What are the types of classes? What are different
Abstract
types of
class,
classes available?
concrete
Abstract
class.
class and concrete class. No need to write down
Concrete.
anything. This is available in the website notes. These are all not required to write. You can go through the website notes. Clearly given. Abstract and concrete classes. What is an abstract class that you are aware of?
Abstract class is like a parent class which we can inherit it, which we can use it, reuse it in the sub child level.
Okay. Any other answers? What is abstract class?
Abstract is incomplete class.
It's complete class only. It's not incomplete.
That class you can't instantiate in the runtime.
Okay. He is saying something technical. Let me make it functional for better understanding. See,
Here we can keep common
in abstract classes, suppose I want to implement a business task. I can implement the business task. I can have the task design and all everything in the abstract classes. I can keep it. But I cannot execute it. I cannot run my transactions. So anything related to transaction you create in abstract classes, no issues. But it cannot be executed. You cannot run your business in abstract classes. Coming to concrete classes, you can do the implementation plus you can execute it. Means your business transactions implementation can be done plus it can be executed. So that means your concrete class is abstract class, superset of abstract class. Whatever that you do in abstract class, can you do in concrete class? Then why we need abstract classes? Think about generally, do not think about technology. Think about generally the meaning of word abstract and give me an answer. When everything can be done in concrete, why again abstract is required?
Cannot reuse in concrete class.
We can keep common functionality.
I will tell you, we can reuse abstract classes, we can reuse concrete classes, both. Leave about technologies and think about machine design or something, what you see outside, and tell me the answer of abstract. You do projects, right? Generalization. So it is generalization, meaning that common components, the common components which you need across different implementations in your business, you're going to make it at abstract level. You take an organization. Organization is, let's say, bank. You just imagine, okay, let's take a college. Imagine physically now, it's not an application. Physically you imagine there is a setup of college. The business that has to be executed in college is teaching anukundam. That is the transaction that has to be done. Teaching is going on, then only you call it as a college, otherwise no college. So imagine a physical building where it is a college. You are stepped into college. Okay. Do you see when the teaching is going on? Let's take engineering college. Okay. So once you step in, you will be asked to redirect it to specific departments, divisions. You go to BTech, there are divisions. BTech is there, MCA is there, MBA is there. You go to BTech division. Again, BTech division has different units, structures, actual implementations. Those are your classrooms, like CSE classroom, EEE classroom, IT. You step in there into CSE classroom. Leave about sections. Step into that CSE classroom. Do you see the actual business is going on? Actual transaction is happening? Okay, to give you for freshers also. Okay, that is what actual business that has to run. College level is there, business running, you can see that, you cannot see. Department level you cannot see that. But when you go to actual, division level you cannot see that. But when you go to actual CSE unit, so college is an organization and in that we have different divisions and under divisions we have different units. So one organization can have a number of divisions. Software technology, TCS, nothing will happen in TCS. There are some functionalities implemented, some process rules implemented in TCS. Okay, inside TCS, you have IT, you have finance, you have HR. You have IT, you have finance and HR. These are divisions, let's say. When you go to IT division, there will be different development units, maintenance units like this. Okay, support units like this. When you go to each unit, you find exact business has been happening, running, exact transactions like this. So similarly, you take a bank. As a bank, it provides you rules, some set of rules, what you have to follow. I mean, what business have to follow. In a bank, you have different divisions. Again, what are the divisions? Loan division is there. Different types of loans they will provide. They'll provide personal loan, vehicle loan, home loan, corporate loan, like this. When you go to a specific department of home loan, you can initiate your transaction. So you will be having organizations, divisions, and units. So any business that you execute in organization level directly, you will not be executing. And division level, any business that gets executed directly, it will not happen. Where it will happen? Unit level. So in an this is called organization structure. So in an organization structure, you will be having organization and n number of divisions will, n number of divisions will be there under organization, and under each division, can I have multiple units? Under each division, you can have n number of units. All these are connected to each other. All these are connected to each other. Maybe like this. This division is not yet set up with any units, let's say. So this is organization, division, and unit. Actual business runs under units. Business transactions will happen at unit level. So what happens at organization level then? What happens at organization level? So set of some guidelines are being written, some common functionalities which are required for different divisions, which can be utilized by different divisions, will be made available at organization. So what about divisions? What will be there in division? Specific functionalities of its connected units. Suppose if you go to CSC division, CSC related, I mean like BTech division, all different common functionalities, labs and all commonly will be set up, which can be utilized by different units. Okay, college level you go, library will be there, which can be used by different divisions commonly. Okay, able to imagine, right? So like this, some of the common functionalities which are required in the business processing will be maintained either at organization level or division level. Now category, what you maintain at, how do you know that it has to be maintained at organization, it has to be maintained at division? How would you differentiate that? So anything which is common across all units of all divisions, where you maintain? Organization. Anything which is specific to specific units of some division, you maintain that only at that division, which can never be accessible to anyone else. Your ODCs, when you go, someone else cannot come into your ODCs. They will not be having access, right? So anything which is common across entire organization, all the units of all divisions, you maintain those components, those implementations created at organization level. And anything which you want to make it only specific, it should be available only to these units of specific division, you maintain it at division level. Anything which can be used only in specific unit but not in other units of same division, then you maintain at unit level. Can I have subunits for the unit? It can be like a tree structure, okay, but don't bother about subunits, only understand up to this level. Now if you transform these organization and division and unit into classes, I have already told you, abstract purpose is to maintain only the components which can be used, which can be commonly used. That is the purpose of abstract classes. Okay, unit classes is we can execute the business. Does it mean unit classes we cannot maintain common components of subunits? We can maintain it. It can do that maintenance, plus it can run the business. But where I maintain a component, I do not want to execute it. I want to only use it. Somewhere else I want to execute. So the execution place is a concrete class, and the maintenance place is an abstract class which can be reused. Till concrete classes are also reusable. Understand this point. Okay. So now think about functional and tell me classes, organization, division, unit, 3 levels. What level you get abstract classes? If you transform into classes, what level you see abstract classes? What level you see division, concrete classes? Organization is a abstract class. Division?
Abstract class.
Abstract class. Unit? Concrete class where actual business transaction will be initiated. What about subunits? Subunits are abstract or concrete? Concrete. You can initiate your transaction at unit level or subunit level. Okay, it depends again. Okay, so that possibility is there with unit level also. So like this, your abstract classes means functionally these are the classes where we can create any implementations. We can go ahead and complete implementation can be done, but which is non-executable. It cannot be executed. Okay, and concrete classes are you create it plus executable. Abstract classes are meant for the purpose of reusability, which is also applicable for concrete classes. Okay, now coming to this is called as organization structure in Pega. See, in PRBC classes we need, as I told you, we need to create classes, but we are not required to create initially. Pega will create some of the classes as part when you create a new application. It has already created. How many classes it has created is, it has created 3 classes. These 3 classes it has created. So like your organization division are connected, right? Suppose if I leave this connection, if I remove this connection, there is no connection with for this division with the organization. Anything available in organization can be used in this division. That link you can understand, right? Similarly, when 3 classes are created automatically, these are connected to each other. Connected or not? Connected by what? So tell me name of each of the class. Looking at this name, I've already told you 3 classes created. This is the name. Individual class names you tell me.
First one is
SBII. I'm sorry, SBII. What level of class it is? This is abstract class. You are correct. I'm asking level of the class. Organization level. Okay. What is the next class name? Okay. What is the next class name? State.
Bank vehicle insurance.
Bank. Okay. Now I have TCS. Okay. In that development is a division. What is the name of the development division? Is it only development or is it TCS development? Why it is TCS development? Why not it is only development? Development means you making it independent, which does not belong to anything. So it should be TCS development. When I say TCS development, what does that mean? What does it make sense?
It is related to organization, right?
In created under TCS, it is connected to TCS. It can utilize anything which is provided in TCS organization into this division. Based on this, tell me what is the second class name? SB II hyphen connection is there. State. This is the actual name of the class. Why naming convention for the second class is given concatenated with the first class? Because it is connected means it can use any features which are available, any functionalities which are available in organization into division. There is no connection, let's say, then there is no relation, it cannot reuse. Just imagine functionality, you can understand easily. Third class name. Okay, now tell me what is this class type? Abstract class. This is division level that you know. Tell me unit level. SBI, State Bank, work. If you see, organization and division have meaningful names. SBI, SBI Bank, something like that. But division, if you see, it is unit. If you see, it has been given. It is what type of class it is? Concrete class, and it is unit level. And if you see unit, the name is given as work. Is it meaningful or it is not meaningful? Why it is meaningful? Where actually your work will be processed. That's why always the practice, what PRPC, how PRPC designed is, when you create your application, it will create organization, division and unit classes. Organization will have a name, division will have a name, unit you want to rename, you can rename at the time of creation. But the practice is, it will have a name work, which makes sense, like your work will be processed under a unit. That's why it has been taken a name as unit, sorry, work. Okay, makes sense everyone? So when you create a new application, what has been created? Application is created that you know. We have added an operator that you know, operator is available. What else has been created? Classes. What classes are being created? Abstract and concrete. Combination is created. Right. How many abstract, how many concrete? To abstract one concrete, we have seen there are many classes created. I'll talk about it later. Only these three we bother about as of now. When you switch application, before you do not switch application, there are other classes, right? But we do not talk about it now. We'll talk about it later. Now, as per my requirement to understand initially, now three classes are created, which are organization level abstract class, division level abstract class, and unit level concrete classes are being created. Organization and division level abstract classes are meant for the purpose of maintaining the components where we cannot execute the business, but that can be reused into respective divisions and units which are connected. Further, I can add more divisions and more units. And unit level class is the one which the name of the class is ends with work, so wherein which we can run our business, our work transactions. So when it is created, I will show you now. Do not bother about the navigations as of now. You can remember it. This is organization level. It's not only the three classes what you have seen. There are many classes available, right? But let's bother about other classes later. Everything today it will be confusing. Okay. Now I go to division. So if I right click on this class name, I will give you the screenshot definition. Okay. This is done. How to open a class definition. I am going to give the screenshot. Right click on the class and definition. It will open only SBII definition, organization class definition. It has created, while creating, it has chosen different option. What type it is taken? Abstract. Do not bother about versioning, we'll see later. Parent class also, these are options we'll see later. But as of now, this is the only one. Abstract class. Completed. Let's go to division level. Division level I'm going to write. And look at here. One parameter I want to mention. ID. This is the actual name of the class. This is only display purpose. ID is the one, any form you open, you see ID. ID is the name of that rule. Okay. So now let me open this second one. Definition. For the second one, this is the definition. For the first one, I'll give the definition number. For the first one, this is the definition. And for the second one, it is the definition. Second one, when you have the definition, what is the class name? ID. What is the class name? So, class purpose is State Bank. But the name is being concatenated to previous class. This concatenation makes the relation between two classes to utilize the rules from functionalities from previous class to current class. What is the previous class here? Current class is State Bank. Okay, that is what. If you expand this, third one, work. Right click on this and go with definition. And here you go. There won't be any practicals for you till next 2 days. Not much practical. Just understanding is most important. Basics. Now it is what type? It is created as count. As we have discussed the same way Pega has created. Okay. So this is about, and the class name is SBII State Bank Work. So everyone clear so far? These are the three classes created. This is how you can see the definitions. Everyone clear? Now coming to the next point, predefined classes in Pega. Okay, and their purpose. This is the in the website notes, you can take it. There are predefined classes. Equivalent word in Pega is OOTB. The classes which are created just now by PRPC, these are not OOTB. These are created by us as part of application period. These are user defined. There are predefined classes available. See, any functionality that you are creating, I told you that we have to create it in one of the class. Similarly, Pega is being provided as an application, right? It has built-in functionalities. Built-in functionalities that it has should be available in built-in classes. Should be available in classes only, right? For that, PRPC will create many classes and maintain all the functionalities inside the classes only. Okay. Now, like that, there are many OOTB classes available in Pega. There are n in number. There are topmost classes in the hierarchy of classes in PRPC. There are topmost 13 classes available. Base class, data dash, work dash, CMIS dash, assign dash, code dash, rule dash, index dash, embed dash. Like this, there are a number of classes. We are not required to bother about all the classes. Out of the topmost 13 classes, the most important 3 classes are @base class, comma, work hyphen. This you have to read it as work dash. and data hyphen. You have to read it as data dash. Okay, that is the way to read it. So why the dash we will understand in a few minutes. Now if you want to see these classes, you can go here. Here you can type. What is that? At the rate. If you are getting the result, you select it. It will show at the rate base class here. So if I want to see the class rule form definition, how I can see that? Right click on the class and choose definition. Let me open the base class rule form definition. And what is the class type? Abstract. Similarly, you can type here work dash. You get it? Any class you can access here. Okay, we want to access back our own classes, then what we can do? SBII, you can access like, not this one, right? Done. We'll get back to our classes. Now these classes are abstract classes. All the classes which are available in Pega, topmost classes, not every class. Other classes I'll talk about later. Topmost classes, 13 classes are all abstract classes. Every class is abstract classes. Okay. Suppose we are manually creating a class. I'm sorry. Screen has got stuck.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm on Notepad only. Yeah, no problem. I think there won't be any problem. Just try to follow. It will be loaded. Maybe due to weather conditions, internet connection might be slow from my end. Okay. Yeah, anyway, I'll post this video. Now, when these are the classes which are available, topmost classes with built-in functionalities. If I want to reuse any built-in functionalities, I have to reuse from the existing classes and existing application Pega rules. Okay. And all the built-in classes in Pega, topmost classes are abstract classes, meaning that anything that functionality is available in predefined classes, can I execute that directly in the Pega rules application? Execute or cannot execute? I cannot execute because those are all abstract level. Okay, that I can use in my application to execute, but I cannot directly go there and execute. That is not possible. Okay, next. See, when you create, suppose you are manually creating, how to create manually classes and all, I'll tell you later. When you are creating classes, you give a name ABC to the class name, right? So if it is an abstract class, the name must end with hyphen symbol. Otherwise PRPC will not consider it as an abstract class. This naming convention is only up to Pega 6 version. From Pega 7 version onwards, this naming convention has been deprecated. And drop down is there, right? Abstract concrete drop down. There you will be choosing, that will take the priority. So till Pega 6 version, when you create a new class, if it is an abstract class, its name must end with hyphen symbols. That's why you see many predefined classes are still available with the name hyphen ending. Those are all abstract classes. So that means by looking at the name of the class, can you say it is an abstract or concrete? Up to Pega 6, not after that.
Yes.
But in Pega 6 also we have base class. From the beginning its name will not end, but it is still abstract. There is a small conflict, but leave about it. This is how it was designed. Okay, I don't know why it has been created like that. But now, difference between Pega 6 and Pega 7. What is the difference? That you know. What is the difference? Oh, no, it's not easily identified. When we create an abstract class in Pega 6 and before versions, the name must end with hyphen symbol. But from Pega 7 onwards, this practice has been deprecated. Deprecated means you're not required to use, not recommended to use. But still if you use, no problem. But you should not be using that. No need to use it. Okay, this is one difference. Note down in your notebook. At the end of the notes, last page you write down. Differences between Pega 6 and Pega 7. Last 2 pages you can take. Because every time we are accessing this page and you are going to write it. What is the first difference before this class naming conventions? Related to application. The difference between Pega 6 and 7, you just make a note. So finally all the differences will be in one page. What is the difference? When we create application, first one, in 6, left side 6, right side 7. When we create application 6, So when we create application in 6, Pega 6, we can create framework implementation at a time. When we create an application, Pega 6 version, when we create an application, we can create framework both at a time. Framework implementation at a time. Just somewhere you can make a note of it. So finally you have a document where you have all the differences. There are many differences we'll see. When we create application, it has framework and implementation we can create at a time. Just hang on a minute. This is also up to 7.2. This is also up to 7.2. Just make a note of that. This is also up to 7.2. Okay. 7. This side you write down. From 7.3 onwards, I think 7.3 also we have same practice what we are doing now. From 7.3 onwards, framework and implementation have to be created one after other. From 7.3 onwards, framework and implementation have to be created one after other. That is the first difference. Second one. In Pega 6, abstract class name up to Pega 6, abstract class name must end with hyphen symbol. Up to Pega 6, abstract class name must end with hyphen symbol. Up to Pega 6, an abstract class name must end with hyphen symbol. Example, ABC dash. ABC dash. Okay. From Pega 7 onwards, next point, from Pega 7 side, you write down Pega 7 side, second point. Pega 7 onwards, abstract class name ending with hyphen has been deprecated. Abstract class name ending with hyphen has been deprecated. Example, ABC. Abstract class name ending with hyphen has been deprecated. So now you cannot say what is abstract, what is concrete by looking at the class name. You have to get inside the class definition and see. These are the basic things. Okay. So now coming to the next concept called inheritance. Everyone knows about what is inheritance?
Parents.
Yes. Anyone is asking a question? No, right? Yeah, please mute then. Yeah, what is it? You do not go ahead with technology. No technical. Tell me functional. Malli super class antaru. Okay. So inheritance means, so there will be a relation between parent and child. Parent-child, meaning that child is been inherited from parent. When child inherits from parent, any of the property, we generally understand human relation. Father and son. Son is inherited from father. Any property which belongs to father can be utilized by son. Vice versa? It is not possible, right? Same is the case in technology also. So you have classes in technology. Okay, class A, class B. Class B inherits from class A, meaning that anything which is available, any functional components which are available in class A can be utilized by class B. Okay. So whenever you create a new application, when PRBC has created organization class, division class, unit class, meaning that organization is meant at the top level. Anything which is made available in organization should be utilized by divisions, multiple. Anything which is available in division should be utilized by, should be made available to different units which are connected to the division. If this utilization should happen, meaning that these should be connected to each other, right? If not connected, so that connection is called relation. That relation is here, we call it as inheritance. So if two classes are being concatenated with a hyphen symbol, if two classes are being concatenated with a hyphen. The first class is just this is the first class. This is second class. Second class is concatenated to previous class. This is third class concatenated to second class. Right? So now this concatenation hyphen is been defined here for the concatenation. So this hyphen defines what type of relation it is? Defines parent and child relationship. What is child? What is parent in this? I'll give you A dash B. What is parent? What is child? A is parent, B is child. So this is one way of defining inheritance in Pega. So inheritance relationship between the classes in PRPC is being defined with a hyphen symbol. So this inheritance, there are two types of inheritance. This type of inheritance we call it as pattern inheritance. Pattern meaning that this is a class which is been separated. This is a combination of classes. I'm sorry. This is combination of classes where each class is concatenated to previous class separated with a pattern of hyphen symbol. Okay, each class is being concatenated separated with a pattern of hyphen symbol. Where this hyphen, pattern hyphen defines inheritance relation, that is called pattern inheritance. So anything which is created in organization class can be utilized in division class only when it is connected with hyphen. Otherwise, it cannot be utilized. Right? This is clear, everyone? Now, so this hyphen defines inheritance relation, that is called pattern inheritance. So there is another type of inheritance available in Pega, that is called direct inheritance. Before we go to direct inheritance, now tell me, I have a question now. The question is, the components which you have defined in organization and division can be used in unit? Yes. How?
Yes.
Because for unit, what is the parent? Tell me here. State Bank is the parent.
State Bank is the parent.
State Bank is parent, right? For State Bank, what is the parent? SBI. Clear? So that means parent of parent. Is it parent to current class? Let's go back to human relation. Grandfather, father, grandson. Grandson can utilize the property of father, right? Can you utilize the property of grandfather? How?
Yes.
Through father. Same is applicable here. Parent of parent class is parent class. Everyone clear? So anything which is available in division class and organization class, so the organization class is being utilized into unit class by means of division. Correct? Suppose there is no relation between organization and division. Unit can utilize from division but not from organization. Right? So this is how it works. So your organization and division and components will be available to unit level by means of what type of inheritance? By means of what type of inheritance? By means of pattern inheritance. That is how PRPC is designed. Clear? Everyone clear so far? Any queries?
Yeah.
So inheritance is occupied for the unit, already inheritance is occupied by organization division. What about predefined classes? I want to use predefined rules. Predefined components that are available, which I have shown you, that has to be utilized to me. To unit. Then how would I use predefined rules? I mean to say, when I say rule, that can be any business functionality. Okay? How would I use predefined business functionalities into my classes? Because my classes, whichever is being created, is being inherited from previous class. User defined class only inheriting. So my idea here is, I want to utilize the predefined functionalities also, apart from whatever I create in my organization and division. So what is the approach that you can find out? So there is another type of inheritance that is defined. Okay. So apart from pattern inheritance, we have another type of inheritance called direct inheritance. Okay. Look at here. I am going to open this class rule form of unit. I am opening. Okay. This is the class rule form. If you scroll down, I'll talk about this checkbox later. Not now. When we work with rule resolution, I'll tell you. Okay. Only this one. When we open the class rule form, here you see parent class. What do you see inside braces? Directed. What is the class here? So in PRPC user interface, if you see a text box with a thick blue color dot at the right bottom corner, that is a drop down. If you click the down arrow, you see all available classes. So did we select this? We did not select. PRBC has selected it automatically. Okay. So now the parent class is selected as, is it predefined or user defined? Work dash. Work dash has a child class, cover dash. Correct? So cover dash parent is work dash, right? Okay, clear? So that means I can use anything which is available in cover dash. Can I use anything which is available in work dash also? Those are not.
Yes.
Should be able to use. Now,
Yes.
look at here. I am removing this. I have removed it and try to save this. Means I am not giving any direct parent. This is called direct parent to the current class. I am not giving anything direct parent. I wanted to remove it. I got it. So is it am I able to create? Suppose if the first time I am able to, if I am creating, should I be able to create? That means your direct inheritance is, it's mandatory. Meaning that this is mandatory. You must have to specify a class. Okay, I must have to specify a class. I'll specify a class. What is the class I want to specify? Something assign something is there. One class I am specifying and I am trying to save. So please define a direct parent class, it is saying when I have not given. I have given something here and I am trying to save. What happened now? You got another error message. What is that? Class group should inherit from work dash or subclasses of work dash. Subclass means children of work dash is also okay. If it is inheriting from child of work dash, meaning that it is also inheriting from work dash, right? So your class group, what is the meaning of class group here? Class group means this one. So far whatever we are discussing, organization, division, unit, this combination of these three classes by means of pattern hyphen, this is called class group. All your business transactions will execute in class group only. That is the meaning of class group. I'll explain again tomorrow. Now this class group must be inherited from work dash. What does that mean? It is a, what does that mean? It is a restriction. This is how PRBC is designed. Your class group when you create, it must be derived from work dash, or child class of work dash is also acceptable because it can utilize from work dash. So practically I will show you this whenever we are working on business requirement. Can someone please mute now? Anything which I have not given other than work dash cover dash, it is failing. I'll give work dash. Am I able to save? See here. I will give work dash cover dash child. This is how it was taken. I will talk about this cover dash later, not now. And then save. Am I able to save this? So a direct parent for a class is always mandatory. That can be specified in the class rule form under parent class directed. And for a class group, what must be the direct parent? This you should remember forever. For a class group, what must be the direct parent? What is that predefined class? Work dash or children of work dash. For a class group, always the parent class must be work dash or children of work dash. Only then it is acceptable. So that's how system is designed. So that means by means of direct inheritance, what we are doing? I'll take 5 more minutes. By means of direct inheritance, what is the purpose of direct inheritance? Now tell me. What is the purpose of pattern inheritance? To utilize the functionalities which we have defined in organization and division classes that are user defined classes. What is the importance of direct inheritance now? Pega predefined functionalities you want to use, that can be possible by means of direct inheritance. Everyone clear? That's why your direct inheritance is always mandatory. Pattern inheritance is optional. I'll talk about it later, not now. Okay? Everyone clear so far? What is pattern inheritance? My question is, what is pattern inheritance? As organization division ane marchipoyi generic ga cheppandi. You talk about it generically. What is pattern inheritance? You take ABC.
Defines the parent
unit. Tell me generically. Pattern inheritance means it's a combination of classes separated by a pattern of hyphen symbol. The classes which are before the pattern of current class are the parent classes. That is pattern inheritance. What is direct inheritance? Tell me something generically. Direct inheritance means the class which is being specified as a direct parent in the class rule form under the drop down parent class directed. That is the direct parent. That is what direct inheritance. only one class specifying here, only one class is possible, comma, another class. What happens? Compilation error. So in a direct inheritance, you can see directly only one class. Pattern inheritance, how many are there in the pattern? Multiple are there. It's not 3. Can I not increase that? Multiple can be there. Okay, this is clear. Now, everyone clear so far? Pattern inheritance means a class which has previous classes concatenated with a pattern of hyphen. That is pattern inheritance. Direct inheritance means class specified in the class rule form under the drop down parent class directed. That is direct parent. That is where you define direct inheritance. The purpose of direct inheritance is to utilize the predefined rules of PEGA from predefined classes. The purpose of pattern inheritance is to utilize the rules from user defined classes, which in case of class group is organization division. If it is something else, it can be different. Okay, we'll see that something else later. Everyone clear so far? Any queries in this pattern and direct inheritance? Anyone? No. Everyone clear? Nanadagamantara question.
So here only one direct inheritance you can define.
Only one direct parent can be defined. Direct inheritance is straightforward, simple. Class rule form in the direct parent drop down whatever the class is selected, that is direct inheritance. Now only one parent we will specify, only one class you can specify. But the restriction when coming to class group, what is the restriction? Direct parent must be what class? Direct parent of class group must be
work dash.
Children of work dash. That is the restriction for class group. We will create other classes as part of our business requirement. That time I will show you other classes. Okay, this is clear. This point you must have to remember forever. What is the point? For a class group, parent class must be work dash or children of work dash is also okay. Note down in your notes. Put a star mark and write down.
Sure.
Yeah, just let me complete this noting down. Note down, put a star mark. For a class group, the direct parent must be, for a class group, the direct parent must be, see, I want to tell you one thing. Basic level I will stress more, because if you know basics very well, you can do anything in advanced. If you're going to miss the basics, you cannot do anything. Okay. What is that? For a class group, the direct parent must be the OOTB class, must be the OOTB class, must be the OOTB class. What is the class name? Work dash or children of work dash. Must be work dash or children of work dash. And now you are asking something, someone online. Come up with your question.
So whenever we want to use predefined classes, predefined methods, then only we have to use work dash, right? You can say like that?
No, don't go like that. That's wrong. As of now, you understand only whatever I have told. More you understand slowly. Okay, that is not correct. So now coming to parent is parent, right? That you know, right? Okay. Okay, I'll tell that tomorrow. And one more thing I forgot to tell you. Class group. Okay, work dash and cover dash. Okay, up to this is everyone clear, right? Pattern inheritance, direct inheritance. Class group. What is the definition of class group? You know, now you have seen class group, right? So define it on your own. It's combination of organization, division and unit, wherein which you can run your business, wherein which you can execute your transactions. This is functional. Technically, if I have to tell you, it is something different. We will see technical definitions also when we come across with those technical things. Practically when we do, I'll do. So class group is a combination of organization, division and unit classes together. Okay, wherein which we can run our business transaction. That is a functional definition from our understanding. So just tell me now, think about practically, do not think about ideal design. Think about practically and tell me, I have organization class and next immediately unit class. Can it be a class group or not class group? Can I run my business or not? Okay, run. Next.
Yes.
I have only one class which is a class group. which is concrete class. Can I run my business or not? So possibility is there. So your definition, combination of organization, division and unit might not be true always. So but ideal class group is combination of organization, division and unit. Okay. So your class group is the collection of abstract and concrete classes. 0 or more abstract. Correct? Suppose you don't have a concrete class. Can it be a class group? Can you run the business? Cannot run. So it cannot be a class. So your class group is combination of 0 or more abstract classes and first concrete class. I can have more than one concrete class after concrete class. And first concrete class, which is a class group where your business transactions can be executed. This is also functional definition only. Technically, I'll tell you later. One more point I want to show you. Just look at here. After this, I'll wind up. Administrator, what is the default ID? Pega.com, password?
Install.
Right. When you log in here, Pega Rules application you'll get, right? So when you go to Pega Rules application, here I'll go to App Explorer. So do you have Pega sample? What is this? This is a class. You see a leaf icon, it is a class. Right click on this class and open the class definition. What is the class type you can see here? What is the class type? Is this a class group? This is where it is selected. In our application also it will be there. It is only one class, right? So class group is possible. Can I run the transactions here? This is also possible. This is how PRPC OOTP is designed only with one class called Pega sample. Okay, so possibility is there. Ideally, if you see, organization, division, maintenance would be best approach in order for easy extendability. Okay, we should not do one with one class. Okay, this is a class group. You can make a note of this definition also. After that, we'll wind up. Class group is a combination of 0 or more abstract classes. Class group is combination of 0 or more abstract classes. And first concrete class. And first concrete class wherein which first concrete class which derives from work dash.
The combination.
This should be added, which derives from, what is the definition? Class group is combination of 0 or more abstract classes and first concrete class which derives from what? Work dash or
Work dash or its child.
Work dash or its child classes. Full stop. Next point, we can run our business transactions in class group. Next point is we can run our business transactions under class group. We can run our business transactions under class group. Make sense, everyone? So as many people have missed today's class,